Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 108th episode of Don't Forget the Popcorn. Today, we are discussing a movie that I think really needs to be discussed. The year has released some movies that are very relevant to the current climate of the world. I reviewed one of them, The Substance, which is a straight masterpiece, and the other one is A Different Man, which I may review later. Those two movies, I think, sum up the mindset of today's males and females on how they view themselves from the outside in and the inside out. And the movie we are discussing today discusses some of the craziest and most talked about things in the current entertainment world. Today, we are going to be reviewing Blink Twice, 2024, directed by Zoe Kravitz. Zoe Kravitz was kind of doomed to be talented if your dad is Lenny and your mom is Lisa Bonet, and you grew up with Jason Momoa around. She's a great actress, musician, and now I can safely say, director. This is quite a directorial debut, and I mean, the sky's the limit from here for the young star. I mean, she's gonna blow by her mother's career, and hell, maybe we'll even match the success of her father has in music. But that remains to be seen. But I think we can say she's without a doubt on the right path. So she decided to get her then boyfriend Channing Tatum to star in this. And I must say, I find this choice interesting. We will get into that later on why I think that. Now, the sad part is these two have broken up very recently, and it sucks because honestly, they worked magic together. I don't know if this movie had anything to do with the breakup, and truthfully, I could care less. But I hope they can maintain a working relationship because these two have made a statement here. But the focus isn't on him. This movie is about the ladies front and center. One of the better movies you could maybe throw in the feminist category over the last few years. Zoe and the female leads here deliver a movie I think we needed. A movie that doesn't necessarily judge or tell you how to feel about any of these characters. I'm sure a lot of people disagree with me on that, as there are very clear villains. But the movie lets you ride with these guys until it all unfolded. It's a mystery movie, and that's why the characters aren't judged by the film itself, but they will absolutely be judged by you. Now, at the beginning of this movie, there is a disclaimer about some of the contents of the film. I'm going to be talking about some touchy subjects in this review. I will not be spoiling this movie, so if you haven't seen it, you are safe. Now, I'm going to tell you, despite my review, I can see a lot of people not liking this movie for a host of reasons, but this movie does need to be watched. In a nutshell, this movie is a film about choices and consequences. I said earlier, this movie doesn't tell you how to feel about the characters, and I love that because one, it adds mystery. Two, it gives us a clear mind to judge for ourselves, because obviously a normal human mind will root in a slanted way. We still see the people you may want to win as careless and negligent. It shows us, at least in my mind, that certain things can be prevented if you use your brain. Not dismissing any of the things and events you saw or are going to see in this movie, but I'll be honest, I have no sympathy for people who ignore red flags, and there are plenty all over the scenario in this movie. Kravitz doesn't really craft a narrative here. She throws us on an island and lets us run free. To me, this movie lived in a world of maybe The Glass Onion or even Clue, but also in a world of Get Out or Midsummer. A thrilling mystery with lots of style, cool editing, and some great cinematography. We are ready to wrap up this year, and this movie, I think, puts a little bow on the last 5 years. Okay, so I guess I should tell you what this movie is about a little bit. This movie follows Frida, played by Naomi Ackel, a young girl who works as an event server with her roommate. She has an unhealthy obsession with tech CEO Slater King, played by Channing Tatum, who has really grown as an actor over the last 15 years. Slater has been under fire for some allegations on things that have happened on his island. Well, Frida and seemingly no one else seems to care about this, because she is determined to meet this man. Long story short, they meet and she ends up spending time with him and his friends on his island. And from there, we get the mystery. Now, this movie also stars Adria Arjona, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite new actors after this and Hitman. She really knows how to make the most of material. We get some supporting performances from Christian Slater, Simon Rex, Gina Davis, and Haley Joel Osment. Truthfully, although I get the message this movie was going for, it's not very thematically rich, and that's okay, because it's a mystery, and we are kind of focused on one thing. You immediately get the sense of this is all too good to be true, And that's on purpose. Zoe sets an obvious stage here as they arrive. We see the lavish lifestyle, the money, the respect that comes with that. Now, right away, I thought about Epstein Island. What's going to happen with these girls? Is this going to be a typical run of the mill abuse movie where these girls got to fight their way off this island? Well, I was pleasantly shocked in a way it presented the story. It's a medium paced burn that leaves little trails and traces all over for you to chew on in this as this mystery unfolds. I must say, I don't think it is very predictable outside of the obvious because you are waiting for certain things to happen that just aren't. But the movie never lets you forget why we are here. The fun can't last forever, even when it seems like it's going to. And trust, the fun ends and the games do begin. We layer in some fun stuff that Zoe used some good inspiration from. We see the Get Out influence, or at least I did with the characters played by the Help. They seem off and trippy, and they are, but they have purpose. The layers move deeper and deeper as I feel like Diddy was setting some of these events up as we started to see. In a world of Epstein, Diddy, Weinstein, we see that money really makes certain people act in the absolute worst ways of their character. Like, like it or not, money equals power. The more you have, the more powerful you are. Rich people get away with stuff a poor middle class person would never get away with. Money can blind people around it, and people are willing to do anything just to be around it. Women are attracted to powerful men with money, and these men know this. So they might prey on that, unfortunately. A regular guy like myself could never even orchestrate the kind of events these guys put on. I can't buy a private island and do anything I want, but these guys can, and they will because why not? They say money is the root of all evil. And I mean, I think it's true a lot of times. Money is what is making this situation possible. I think having money comes with great responsibility, and some people really shouldn't have it. To wield your wealth and status around as a tool to take advantage of people is one of the lowest things someone can do. All these guys I mentioned are just the most extreme forms of it, but it comes at all levels. This film shows us that on full display. People treat you differently when you have money. They will put up with a little bit more, go the extra mile, and that's where the problem lies. Now, no one is without fault here, although, yes, these ladies are the victims. They made some very poor decisions. These women let that money blind them to the sea of red flags that were at their feet. The main one being, these guys have all been accused of things. Now, this isn't a spoiler. You find this out in the first 5 minutes, but I'll let you see all the other mistakes they make along the way. Now, that's not excusing anyone's behavior here. What is happening in this movie is just plain not okay. I think it's cool Zoe made this movie in light of all that's coming out recently. I think it was a slight jab at Hollywood and how crazy it can get there. Zoe has been growing up in the show business her whole life, so I'm sure she's seen some things and probably could tell you way more with this story. Any male or female that has gone through some of the traumatic things you see in this movie, I'm very sorry you had to go through that, and this movie may not be for you if it's still something you're struggling with. So I will say this as a warning that this may be triggering to some. Now, this movie can be taken in a lot of ways. Some may take it light as a fun little mystery with some domestic violence sprinkled in the story, or some may take it as a more serious, as a caution, or maybe even a warning of what's really happening or what may come in the future. Regardless of what Zoe is trying to put out, this movie is fun for the most part, as you sit on edge waiting for what you inevitably know is going to come. We have some fun on the way. It's a party movie. They're on this beautiful island with lovely ladies, handsome gentlemen, and a lot of drugs, alcohol, and laughs along the way. That's what makes this movie fun despite the horrors. We have some interesting characters. The handsome and charismatic leader, the quirky and witty chef, the older friend who's always stayed young and fun, and the goofy friend that always is the life of the party. On the surface, these dudes are regular guys, our regular friend group. This cast of veteran male actors have some good chemistry and are fun to watch. Now, the wild cards are the ladies. First thing I thought, this was a great cast of ladies. A nice diverse group that had some fun chemistry. The thing is, they don't know each other that well, and it's very fun to see them interact. They smoke so much weed and roll some of the fattest blunts I've seen in a movie. It's literally the running joke of the film. I thought that Adria Arjona as Sarah, the athletic reality star, was the standout in the whole cast. She is growing on me very much as an actress. The dynamic between her and Frida is great and one of the strongest points of the film. I also thought this movie had some beautiful cinematography. The colors pop at you, and you get some very good shots. The editing is smooth, and it's the perfect runtime. It doesn't overstay its welcome. The set designs are very detailed, credit to the director. Everything in this movie is intentional and done with confidence. Even though I didn't agree with every choice made, and some of the writing I thought could have been better in certain places, particularly the third act. There were some cool little twists, but I will say, I ultimately didn't love the way they ended this movie. I thought there were a lot of missed opportunities to send a better message, a more realistic one. I love a lot of the little themes here, like female solidarity and abuse of power, but I thought a far better lesson could have been taught in this climax. Now, I respect the route Zoe went with this. As a matter of fact, I'll likely look back and end up loving this ending on rewatch. But in the current state of things, I just would have went a different route. Justice has many different faces, and who am I to judge on how it should be delivered? There also were some things I picked up on that I think some average film watchers may be confused on. Or they could simply be holes in the writing, and I'm just making out my own inferences. Nevertheless, I think some people will find certain aspects a little confusing. Now, I know a lot of people aren't going to like this movie, and for a lot of reasons. And hey, we are entitled to our own opinion. But I found this movie quite fun and disturbing all at once. Mostly because, man, I feel like this stuff happens. Not necessarily to this degree, but I mean, look at the stuff that's been coming out. Go into this and form your own opinion on it and have fun. Because although I do think Zoe was trying to send a message here, I do think she wanted her audience to have fun overall with this movie. I would highly suggest this movie to you. I am going to give Blink Twice an 8.8 out of 10. Guys, thank you so much for watching my Blink Twice review. Let me know if there's a film or topic you want me to review. Guys, it's holiday season, a lot going on, so if you make a request, trust me, it will get done. Just may not be right away. Like and subscribe, it really helps me out. Follow me on Letterboxd, Ralph Vader. I'll link that below. I got a podcast with my buddy, The Cutting Room Floor. I'll link that below for more movie content. I will be back next week. And don't forget the popcorn.